Welcome, if you dare, to Scary Snacks. Tonight, we delve into the dark corners of cinematic history, unearthing the scenes that have chilled audiences to the bone. This video is a descent into fear itself, a roller coaster ride through the most terrifying moments ever captured on film. You think you're brave enough? This is for a mature audience only. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. What you're about to see is not for the faint of heart. We're talking about blood, dread, and images that will stay with you long after the lights go out. If you find yourself captivated by the chilling embrace of these cinematic nightmares, be sure to subscribe to Scary Snacks and hit that like button to join our community of horror enthusiasts. The shadows are long and the night is young. Imagine the year is 1973. The Exorcist arrives in theaters, forever changing the landscape of horror. Now picture this. A young girl, Regan, her innocence stolen by a demonic entity. Her body contorts in ways unimaginable, her voice a guttural rasp spewing venomous insults. But it's the headspin that truly chills us. This isn't some cheap parlor trick, no CGI wizardry. This is practical effect at its most unsettling. The camera doesn't shy away, it lingers, forcing us to confront the impossible. Theaters were filled with screams, with fainting viewers, with a palpable sense of dread that extended far beyond the screen. Why? Because The Exorcist tapped into our primal fears, the corruption of innocence, the helplessness against unseen forces, and that headspin? It's a symbol of that utter loss of control. It tells us that something is deeply, terrifyingly wrong. The image is burned into our collective memory, a reminder that some lines should never be crossed. But it's not just the visual, it's the sound design. The sickening crackle as Regan's bones twist. The demonic laughter that seems to seep into your very soul. These elements combine to create an experience that transcends mere entertainment. This is horror as an assault on the senses. It's meant to disturb, to unsettle, to leave you questioning the very nature of reality. And for many, it did just that. The Exorcist wasn't just a film, it was a cultural phenomenon. It sparked controversy, it ignited debates about faith and possession, but most importantly, it reminded us that true horror doesn't need jump scares. It lives in the shadows, in the whispers, in the moments that make us question our own sanity. And sometimes, it manifests in a head spinning all the way around. 1960. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, a film that redefined suspense, a film that gave birth to countless nightmares, and at its heart, a single scene that changed cinema forever. The shower scene. It's a masterclass in tension and release. The flickering black and white, the confined space of the bathroom, the staccato bursts of Bernard Herrmann's iconic score. Every element is designed to heighten our anxiety. We see Marion Crane, played by the beautiful Janet Leigh, stepping into the shower. She's vulnerable, exposed. We're lulled into a false sense of security by the running water, the mundane act of cleansing. And then, the silhouette. A shadowy figure, hair pulled back, emerges from the darkness. A butcher knife glints under the harsh bathroom light. What follows is a flurry of quick cuts, slashing violins and blood swirling down the drain. We don't see the knife penetrate flesh, but we feel it. The violence is implied, more terrifying because of it. This is horror that gets under your skin, that stays with you long after the credits roll. It's the fear of the unexpected, the realization that safety is an illusion. The shower scene wasn't just shocking for its time, it was groundbreaking. It shattered cinematic taboos, proving that horror could be found in the mundane, in the everyday. And that scream, Janet Leigh's blood-curdling scream, it's a primal scream, a sound that resonates deep within our subconscious. It's the sound of terror itself. Psycho's shower scene wasn't just a scene, it was a cultural earthquake. It forced us to confront our own vulnerabilities, to acknowledge the darkness that lurks at the edges of our vision. It's a reminder that even in the most ordinary places, evil can find us. And sometimes it comes armed with a butcher knife. Chapter 3. Hereditary, when decapitation becomes an act of unbearable grief. 2018. Ari Aster's Hereditary, a film that crawls under your skin and stays there. This isn't your typical haunted house story. This is a descent into madness, a family torn apart by grief and something far more sinister. And then there's scene, the decapitation. It's not a moment of gore, but of pure, unadulterated shock. Annie's daughter, Charlie, is already deeply unsettling, plagued by a darkness we can't quite comprehend. They're in the car, tension thick as fog. Charlie, allergic to nuts, gasps for air. Annie, frantic, speeds toward the hospital. And then, a sickening thud. Charlie's head, severed by a telephone pole, left behind in the car. The camera lingers on Annie's reaction, her face a mask of disbelief and horror. This isn't a jump scare, it's a punch to the gut. A brutal, unflinching depiction of loss. Hereditary understands that true horror isn't about monsters or demons. It's about the disintegration of the human psyche. It's about the things we fear most, the loss of a child, the unraveling of our sanity. The decapitation scene is a turning point in the film, the moment when the family's descent into hell becomes irreversible. It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we create ourselves. And the aftermath? The quiet horror of Annie discovering her daughter's body, it's almost too much to bear. Aster doesn't shy away from the emotional carnage, forcing us to confront the raw, visceral pain of grief. Hereditary's decapitation scene isn't just shocking, it's a testament to the power of suggestion. It's a scene that stays with you, that haunts your waking hours. It's a reminder that sometimes the scariest things are the ones we can't explain, the ones that linger in the shadows of our minds. Chapter 4, Jaws, the first bite that took a chunk out of our summer fun. 1975. Summertime. The beach beckons, but something lurks beneath the waves. Something ancient, primal, hungry. Jaws, directed by a young Steven Spielberg, changed the way we view the ocean. It wasn't just a monster movie, it was a masterclass in suspense. Spielberg understood that the most effective horror lies in what we see. And nowhere is this more evident than in the first shark attack. The scene unfolds on a crowded beach, the sun shining, children laughing. A young woman, Chrissy, swims out into the open water. We see her from below, a lone figure silhouetted against the moonlight, and then hits. A sudden jolt, a scream cut short. The water churns, stained with blood. We only catch glimpses of the shark, a fin slicing through the water, a flash of teeth. But it's enough. Our imaginations run wild, filling in the blanks with our primal fears. The unseen terror is far more effective than any rubber monster. Jaws tapped into our deep-seated fear of the unknown, of the creatures that lurk beneath the surface. The first attack is a masterclass in tension and release. It's a slow burn that culminates in a moment of pure, visceral terror. We're left breathless, shaken, our sense of security shattered. Jaws wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon. It kept audiences out of the water, spawned countless imitations, and cemented Steven Spielberg's place in cinematic history. And that first attack? It remains one of the most iconic and terrifying moments in cinema history. A reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we can't see coming. Chapter 5. The Shining. Here's Johnny. The Descent into Madness, 1980. Stanley Kubrick unleashes The Shining upon the world. This isn't your typical haunted house story. This is a slow-burn descent into madness, fueled by isolation and something far more sinister. And at the heart of it all is Jack Torrance, played with chilling intensity by Jack Nicholson. We watch as Jack, a writer seeking inspiration, slowly unravels within the confines of the Overlook Hotel. The isolation, the ghosts, the suffocating pressure of his own demons, they all chip away at his sanity. And then, the axe scene. It's a scene etched into the annals of horror history. Wendy, Jack's wife, hides in the bathroom, terrified of her husband's transformation. He's no longer the man she knew. He's something else entirely. Here's Johnny. The words explode from Jack's mouth as he hacks through the bathroom door. His face, a grotesque caricature of a smile, is both comical and utterly terrifying. This isn't just a man breaking down a door. It's the disintegration of the human psyche, the unleashing of our darkest impulses. The axe becomes a symbol of Jack's descent into madness, a weapon wielded with gleeful abandon. Kubrick's masterful direction amplifies the horror. The slow, deliberate tracking shots, the eerie silence punctuated by Jack's maniacal laughter. It's a masterclass in building tension, in creating an atmosphere of unbearable dread. The Here's Johnny scene isn't just terrifying because of its violence, but because of what it represents. It's a reminder that the scariest monsters are often the ones we love, the ones we trust. It's a scene that stays with you long after the credits roll, a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest horror lies within ourselves. Did you survive the scariest moments in cinema history? So there you have it, a glimpse into the darkest corners of cinema history. From demonic possessions to shark attacks, From psychological breakdowns to unspeakable acts of violence, these films have left an indelible mark on our collective psyche. If you found yourself captivated by the chilling embrace of these cinematic nightmares, be sure to subscribe to Scary Snacks and hit that like button. Join our community of horror enthusiasts as we delve deeper into the darkness, exploring the films that terrify and thrill us. The shadows are long and the night is young. Until next time, sleep tight, if you can.